Attention all personnel of Research Station Helios 9. Today marks a groundbreaking achievement in our scientific endeavors, I announced, my tentacles quivering with pride as I stood before the assembled crowd. We have successfully acquired 5 specimens of juvenile humans for our behavioral studies. The gathered scientists erupted in applause, their bioluminescent patches flashing in excitement. Oh, how naive we were. If only we had known what terror would follow our moment of triumph. I am Drax Vorlin, Chief Commander of Correction, former Chief Commander of what was once the most advanced research facility in the Galactic Alliance. Now, well, let us just say that I am lucky to be alive to tell this tale. Commander Vorlin, the specimens have been secured in containment chamber, a 7 reported lead researcher Pax Mira, her scaled skin glistening under the purple lights. Initial scans show they are in perfect health. Ages range from 7 to 12 Earth cycles. Excellent work, Pax, I praised, checking the security feeds. 5 small humans huddled together in their holding cell, looking absolutely terrified. Perfect. Have you informed the High Council? Yes, Commander. They are particularly interested in understanding how these primitive beings manage to achieve space flight, despite their obvious emotional instabilities. The humans had always puzzled our scientists. Such an irrational species prone to outbursts of both violence and kindness, capable of incredible destruction, yet also of surprising innovation. Their rapid expansion into space had caught the attention of the Galactic Alliance, but their unpredictability made them dangerous to study. Until now. These young ones will help us understand their species better, I declared confidently. Away from their parents' influence, we can properly document their development and behavioral patterns. A junior researcher raised his appendage. Sir, what about the human protocols? The warning about their protective instincts toward offspring. I laughed dismissively. Those old tales? Mere propaganda spread by human diplomats to seem more threatening. What can they possibly do? Their military vessels are primitive compared to our defense systems. Besides, these children were taken from a remote colony. By the time anyone notices they are missing, our research will be complete. Oh, how wrong I was. So catastrophically, hilariously wrong. Looking back now, I should have paid more attention to the way those 5 children watched us through the containment field. They were not crying anymore. No, they were smiling. Especially the oldest one, a girl named Maya Bennett, whose grin reminded me of a predator sizing up its prey. But we were the advanced species, were we not? The ones with superior technology and intelligence. The ones in control. At least that is what we thought. Before everything went horribly, terribly wrong, the first sign that something was amiss came during the initial medical examination. Our most experienced handler, Krell, approached Maya Bennett with a scanner. She looked at him with those strange human eyes and said, "If you touch me with that thing, you will regret it." Krell, of course, ignored her. 3 seconds later, he was hopping around the examination room with a broken tentacle, while Maya stood there calmly explaining to the other children proper self-defense techniques. A report from Medical Bay Pax announced during our morning briefing. Krell will require 2 weeks of regeneration therapy. From a child, I sputtered into my morning nutrient shake. Impossible. They are supposed to be docile at this age. The incidents only escalated from there. Tommy Wright, the youngest at 7 Earth cycles, proved particularly troublesome. We discovered his talent for electronics when he somehow rewired his dinner dispenser to spray nutrient paste at supersonic speeds. 3 scientists needed decontamination, and the walls required a new coat of paint. Commander Pax approached my office 2 days later, her scales an anxious shade of green. We have a situation with specimen James Torres. What now, I asked, already dreading the answer. He has organized a resistance movement. I blinked all 4 of my eyes. He is 9 Earth cycles old. Yes, and he has united the other children into what they call Operation Parents will kill you all. Pax shifted uncomfortably. They have developed a crude but effective military structure. Maya is their tactical officer, Kira Stone handles intelligence, Tommy is their technology expert, and Alex Wright serves as their, quote, chaos coordinator. They are children. I slammed my appendage on the desk. Put them in separate containment units. That proved to be our second major mistake. Within hours of separation, the evening shift reported strange occurrences. Security cameras glitched, equipment malfunctioned, and the children? They were perfectly behaved, sitting quietly in their cells, those unnerving smiles never leaving their faces. Sir, a guard burst into my office at midnight. "Tommy has escaped." How I roared. He said he needed to use the bathroom. When we checked his cell, we found a perfectly crafted dummy made from bedsheets and nutrient paste. While we scrambled to locate Tommy, Kira launched what she called Project Distraction, an impressive display of human vocal capabilities that had half our staff convinced the station was haunted by vengeful spirits. "The humans have a saying," Maya informed me during an interrogation. "Never mess with Mama Bear's cubs." But you know what is worse than Mama Bears? I should not have asked. What? Special Forces Mama Bears. And guess what my mom does for a living? The way she said it made my exoskeleton crawl. But surely she was bluffing. The probability of us accidentally kidnapping the children of human military personnel was astronomically low. Right? Commander Pax rushed in, interrupting my thoughts. "We found Tommy." "Excellent. Where?" "In the ventilation system." "But sir, that is not the problem." She looked terrified. "He has been in there for hours, and we just discovered that someone downloaded our entire security protocol database during that time." "So? They are children. What could they possibly do with that information?" A loud alarm blared through the station. The lights flickered ominously. Message incoming announced the station AI. Origin Earth Fleet Command. As the blood drained from my face, I heard Alex whisper from his cell next door, "You really should have Googled our parents before taking us." That was the moment I realized we had not captured research subjects. We had captured bait. The Earth Fleet message was brief, "We know." That was all. 2 words that sent our entire command staff into panic mode. I maintained my composure, naturally. If by maintaining composure you mean stress molting 3 layers of scales during the emergency meeting. "Surely this is a coincidence," I declared, watching the long-range scanners. "The human fleet movements near Sector 7 are routine exercises." "Sir," our tactical officer Ven pointed at the display. "Those are not exercises. They are moving in attack formations we have never seen before. And they are being led by Admirals Bennett, Stone, Torres, and Wright." The children's surnames echoed in my mind. Surely this was another coincidence. The galaxy was vast, after all. The chances of us accidentally abducting the offspring of Earth's most decorated military commanders were. Commander Pax interrupted my probability calculations. "We have another situation. Dr. Yaz has vanished." "Vanished? What do you mean vanished?" "He went to check on the specimens and never returned. We found his tablet in Alex's cell, displaying pictures of his own children. There was a note starting to understand how it feels." More reports flooded in. Security cameras caught glimpses of shadows where no one should be. Critical systems began failing in patterns our technicians could not explain. The station's AI started playing what the children called psychological warfare, an endless loop of something called Baby Shark. "Sir, we lost contact with Research Lab 3, a guard reported. Dr. Mira said she heard someone humming in the ventilation shafts and then nothing." "Find her," I ordered, trying to ignore the growing knot in my primary stomach, "and seal those ventilation shafts." "We did, sir. They are still humming." From their containment cells, the children watched. Always watched. Maya had started a countdown, but would not tell us to what. Kira maintained a running commentary on our deteriorating security measures, pointing out flaws we did not even know existed. James kept asking if we could hear the drums of war, while Alex helpfully suggested evacuation routes. "Tommy?" Tommy just smiled and played with a makeshift toy he had somehow fashioned from spare parts. The guards assured me it was harmless, right until it accessed our communications array and broadcast our coordinates to every human ship in the quadrant. Commander Pax entered my office, her scales nearly white with fear. "We found Dr. Mira." "Where?" "In her quarters, unharmed." but she has submitted her resignation, along with half the research staff. They cannot resign. We are in lockdown. Sir, they said they would rather face charges of desertion than stay here when, and I quote, the reckoning arrives. The station shuddered. Power fluctuated across multiple decks. In the distance, we heard the haunting melody of children singing. Not our specimens, they were still in their cells, grinning those terrible grins. No, these voices came from everywhere and nowhere at once. Status report, I barked into the command channel. Sir, we are detecting quantum distortions at the edge of our sensor range, Ven replied, his voice shaking. The humans, they are using technology we did not know they had. The fleet movements we tracked, they were decoys. A message flashed across my screen, thanks for the security codes. Love, Tommy. That was when the lights went out. In the darkness, I heard Maya's voice, calm and clear. Mom always says to give the enemy a chance to surrender. Dad says that is a waste of time. Guess which approach they decided on? The backup generators kicked in, bathing the station in red emergency lighting. On every screen, a simple message played. You took our children. We are coming to take them back. Run. Alarms blared as I rushed to the command center. Not the standard intruder alerts, no. These were the supposedly unbreakable quantum proximity sensors, screaming in frequencies I had never heard before. Report, I demanded, watching chaos unfold on the monitoring screens. Sir, we have multiple breaches, Ven stammered. They are already inside. Impossible. Our shields were disabled 43 seconds ago, announced a new voice. A human woman materialized on our main view screen, her uniform bearing the insignia of Earth Fleet Special Operations. I must thank Tommy for the access codes. He is such a helpful boy. I recognized those eyes. They were Maya's eyes, but harder, colder. Commander Lisa Bennett, she introduced herself with a predatory smile. Maya's mother. Now, shall we discuss the terms of your surrender? We do not surrender to primitives, I declared, signaling security to lock down all sections. Wrong answer, her image vanished. The lights flickered. Screams echoed from the lower decks. Multiple contacts, Ven shouted. They are everywhere. Security feeds showed glimpses of the nightmare unfolding. A massive human male moving like shadow through our corridors, neutralizing guards with terrifying efficiency. Colonel Marcus Wright, checking on his kids, read the message flashing across the screen. In the research lab, scientists fled in terror as another human systematically dismantled our security forces. Her uniform identified her as Captain Anna Torres, but she moved more like a force of nature than a soldier. Sir Pax burst in, gasping. The quantum mainframe, Major David Stone breached it, he said. He said Kira complained about our outdated firewall. The children. The perfect, terrible children. They had not been planning an escape. They had been preparing a welcome party. Commander Bennett, I reopened the comm channel, my voice several octaves higher than usual. Perhaps we should discuss. Too late, she replied. You had your chance. Now you deal with us. All of us. The station rocked as explosions rippled through the lower decks. Not random destruction, no. They were surgically precise detonations, disabling our systems one by one. Fascinating technology you have here, commented Major Stone, his voice hijacking our internal comms. Kira was right, though. Your quantum encryption needs work. Through it all, the children maintained their vigilance. Maya provided running commentary on her mother's tactics. James critiqued Captain Torres's combat efficiency ratings. Tommy calculated the precise rate of our system's failure, while Alex and Kira ran a betting pool on which parent would reach the command center first. Sir Ven pointed at the security feed. Look at their weapons. I looked. Then looked again. The humans wielded technology that should have been centuries beyond their capabilities. Did you really think, Colonel Wright's voice rumbled through the speakers, that we show all our cards during diplomatic meetings? Those research stations you thought were primitive outposts, Captain Torres added. Those were tests. We watched, waited, learned your weaknesses. And then Major Stone continued. You made the mistake of taking our children." The blast doors to the command center buckled, not from explosives, but from precisely applied pressure points that should have been classified information. Commander Bennett purred through the comm. "Remember when I offered terms? That offer expired approximately 2 minutes ago. But do not worry, the children made us promise not to hurt anyone too badly. They can be quite persuasive when they want to be." The doors crashed open. 4 humans stood there, armed with weapons that definitely violated several galactic treaties. Behind them, I could hear the sound of running feet and gleeful children's voices. Mom Maya shouted, appearing beside Commander Bennett. "Did you see how I kept them distracted with psychological warfare?" "That is my girl," Bennett replied, not taking her eyes or her weapon off me, though the baby shark was a bit cruel. "That was my idea," Tommy announced proudly, high-fiving his father. As I watched the family reunions unfolding before me, a horrible realization dawned. We had not merely kidnapped children. We had inadvertently selected the offspring of Earth's most elite military unit, given them time to study our weaknesses, and then waited patiently while they guided their parents right to our doorstep. For future reference, Commander Bennett addressed me, her smile reminding me exactly where Maya had learned hers. "Next time you want to study humans, just ask. The paperwork is much simpler than dealing with angry parents." Have you ever watched a master artist at work? Now imagine that art is systematic destruction, and the canvas is an entire space station. That is what I witnessed next. "Security protocols indicate 3 paths to the auxiliary control center," Maya announced, pulling up station schematics on her tablet, the same tablet we had given her for educational purposes. "Mom, want to test that new quantum phase technology?" Commander Bennett grinned. "Colonel Wright, care to give a demonstration?" Wright cracked his knuckles. "Kids, pay attention. This is how we breach quantum-locked barriers." What followed was, well, calling it combat would imply we stood a chance. Our most advanced security measures lasted approximately 30 seconds against their supposedly primitive technology. Wright moved through quantum-hardened walls like they were mist. Bennett appeared and disappeared at will, and Torres treated artificial gravity like a suggestion. Dad, James called out, "The secondary reactor is through that wall. The one they said was impenetrable." "Thanks, buddy." Captain Torres pulled out a device the size of her palm. "Want to see why Mom's research team got that classified budget increase?" The impenetrable wall lasted precisely 2.3 seconds. Through it all, Major Stone conducted what he called a practical lesson in cyber warfare. Tommy perched on his shoulders, pointing out system vulnerabilities they had discovered during their captivity. "See that security node?" Tommy said. "I rewired it last Tuesday. Watch this." Entire sections of the station went dark. Systems we thought were isolated crashed simultaneously, and our advanced AI started playing what the humans called show tunes. Serpax whispered, watching the destruction. "Did we really think we could contain these beings?" "Better question," Commander Bennett interrupted, materializing between us. "Did you really think we would not notice which colony you targeted? The one where Earth's top operatives send their children for normal life experience." The station shuddered. Somewhere below, Colonel Wright was teaching Alex the finer points of quantum demolitions. The boys' laughter echoed through the halls, punctuated by increasingly creative explosions. "The auxiliary bridge is sealed," Ven reported desperately. "Triple-layered quantum locks, dedicated power source, separate life support." "Already breached," Major Stone called out. Kira suggested a back door through the waste management systems. Smart girl. The children had spread out with their parents, turning our research mission into what they called Take Your Kid to Work Day. Maya coordinated with her mother, marking targets and suggesting entry points. James and Torres moved like twin shadows through the engineering decks, discussing plasma containment over the comms. Mom, Tommy shouted, "Remember that thing you said about never touching unknown alien technology?" "Yes, honey." "Well, I kind of did. But I figured out how it works. Want to see?" The resulting power surge turned our gravity plating into what the humans called a bounce house. I saw 3 of my best scientists pinned to the ceiling, while Tommy and Major Stone played what they called zero-G tag through the corridors. The funny thing is, Commander Bennett remarked, watching her daughter bypass another security system. We were planning to share our technological advances next year, diplomatic relations and all that, but then you had to go and kidnap our kids. To be fair, Colonel Wright added, helping Alex place another precisely calculated charge. This is much more entertaining than a technology exchange program. Our last line of defense was the emergency containment protocol. Triple redundant quantum shields, autonomous defense systems, and enough firepower to stop a small fleet. It lasted 45 seconds. "Mom, look," Kira called out, pointing at a holographic display. "Their targeting systems have the same flaw I spotted in the simulation games. Watch this." The defense grid turned on itself. Automated systems crashed. Quantum shields flickered and died. That is, my girl Major Stone beamed, using their own systems against them, just like we practiced. Sir Ven tugged at my sleeve, watching the carnage. I believe I speak for the entire staff when I say we quit. "Attention, all station personnel," Commander Bennett's voice echoed through the remaining functional speakers. "This is now an Earth fleet operation. Please proceed to the designated evacuation points. The children have kindly marked them with smiley faces." They had. Bright yellow smiley faces painted on the walls, leading to the escape pods. When had they even had time to do that? "Oh," and Commander Drax Bennett added, "the kids requested we leave the station mostly intact. Something about wanting to come back for their science projects? They are quite enthusiastic about interspecies research." The last thing I saw before being escorted to an evacuation pod was Tommy showing his father how to reconfigure our quantum core into what he called a really cool light show. From the observation deck of our rescue vessel, I watched Research Station Helios 9 float serenely in space, remarkably intact, save for the words "never again" written in quantum burns across the hull. A message from Tommy Pax noted, "The boy has quite a talent for molecular manipulation." The Earth fleet ships surrounded our former station, their advanced technology no longer hidden. Commander Bennett had arranged comfortable transport for our evacuated staff, though I noticed the ships carrying us were conspicuously older models. They were still making a point. Commander Drax Maya's voice came through our ship's comm. "We wanted to thank you for the education opportunity." "Education opportunity," I stammered. "Oh yes," James chimed in. "Mom says the best way to learn is through practical experience. We learned so much about alien technology." "And biology," Kira added. "The way your security teams ran when Dad accessed their quantum shields, fascinating stress response." Plus, Tommy contributed, "I got to show Mom and Dad all my engineering projects. Did you know your quantum core can be reconfigured into a really awesome game console?" The children had turned our most advanced research station into their personal science fair project, and their parents had let them. For what it is worth, Commander Bennett joined the conversation. "The kids put in a good word for you, said you were," and I quote, "not totally horrible captors. Just really bad at threat assessment," Alex added helpfully. Through the viewport, I watched teams of human engineers swarming over our station. They had claimed it as, officially, a joint research facility. Unofficially, I suspected it was now the galaxy's most advanced playground. "The Galactic Council will hear about this," I tried one last time to salvage some dignity. "Oh, they already have," Major Stone replied cheerfully. "The kids sent them a very detailed report, with video." "They were quite impressed with our children's initiative," Captain Torres added. "Something about demonstrating remarkable aptitude for interspecies relations." The worst part. They were right. In less than a week, 5 human children had mastered our technology, mapped our weaknesses, and coordinated a military response that had professionals from 17 species taking notes. A word of advice, Colonel Wright's voice rumbled through the speakers. "Next time you want to study humans, start with the adults. We are much less dangerous." As our rescue ship prepared to jump to safety, I received one final message. A group photo of the families, posed in front of my former office. The children were teaching their parents how to play some game they had invented using our quantum research equipment. See you at the next Interspecies Science Fair. Tommy's note read, "We have so many cool ideas to share." Looking at that photo, I finally understood humanity's true power. Not their hidden technology, not their military prowess, but something far more fundamental. They turned every experience, even captivity, into a learning opportunity. And they passed that insatiable curiosity to their children, wrapped in layers of protection that made quantum shields look like tissue paper. Commander Pax interrupted my reflection. "The Council wants our report. What should I tell them?" I looked at the station one last time, at the quantum burn spelling never again. "Tell them we successfully confirmed humanity's status as a protected species," I replied, "and add a new warning to the database: their children are not research subjects. They are tiny scientists with extremely overprotective research assistants." As we jumped to safety, I could have sworn I heard children's laughter echoing through space. Or maybe it was just the trauma talking. Either way, I was booking a very long vacation, somewhere far, far away from any human colonies. Preferably on a planet without children,